Action. Welcome back. We seem to have had technical difficulties again. So we'll forget about the US, who we were talking about. We'll move on to... Actually, we'll move on to Turkey, or Turkey as they like to be called these days. This is their third World Cup. Their best ever result was third place in 2002. Turkey has an interesting team. They've got guys like Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Inter Milan. They've got a lot of experience, actually. Arda Güler, Kenan Yildiz, again, he's from Juve as well. Arda Güler from Real Madrid. So they're still pretty young, but they've already played a tournament in the Euros, so they've got some experience there. A lot of domestic players, Galatasaray, Fenerbahce, I think Beşiktaş as well. I personally think this team can do anything. Like, they could go to quarterfinals. They could lose all 3 games.
I honestly see this team being one of the dark horses, or the dark horse of the World Cup.
I think so too.
A lot of people aren't really paying much attention to them, and that's probably maybe a good thing.
Yeah.
So there's no expectations on them, but I think they're going to be the dark horse in the World Cup, this one, because it's like they're going to be the team that no one really realizes. They're like, oh, they're just like a Morocco, last World Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Potentially could be that. Yeah.
I think they got a lot of talented players, and to be honest, I actually think they will probably end up top of the group. In this one.
I if anyone tops it, I think it's them.
Yeah.
It's not a bad team at all. Like they're all playing either in a top league or for their biggest clubs. I think there's literally one player that I can see on their team that's not playing for, or 2 players that aren't playing for the 3 biggest clubs in Turkey. So they're all used to playing under pressure, and I mean when they play for their country, I guarantee you they'll give it their all.
What was their World Cup qualifier run like? So
I'm not quite sure. Let me see if I've got it here.
The other thing I was just going to say while he's looking at that, they obviously have a lot of Galatasaray players, and Galatasaray actually did pretty decent in the Champions League this year too.
Alright.
So they had Spain in their group. They had Spain, Georgia, Bulgaria.
Right.
And they got pumped by Spain 6-0, but they also drew with Spain 2-2, and they won all their other games. So then they had a playoff. Oh yeah, that's right. They went through the playoff. They beat Romania in the first playoff, and then they beat Kosovo in the second playoff, 1-0 both times. So recently they've had 2 friendlies, beat Macedonia 4-0, beat Venezuela 2-1. So I mean, going by those results, you wouldn't think too much.
No.
I wouldn't think too much, but I might have mentioned it earlier. Like, I think Turkey, they could either go all the way, pretty much, on just passion and energy, or they could end up losing to all 3 teams and go home. Like, I think both are possible. So all right. We'll move on to Paraguay. So Paraguay, this is their 9th World Cup, which actually, that surprised me. I didn't realise they'd been to so many. Their best was a quarterfinal in 2010, and they haven't been to a World Cup since then, actually. So this is the first World Cup since 2010.
There you go.
In terms of players, back in the day there was a lot of fairly well-known players. Roque Santa Cruz and Nelson Valdez and few other players. This time not as many that I recognise anyway. You being South American, maybe know a few more. Fabian Balbuena used to play in the Premier League, I think for West Ham, so he's still going around. Miguel Almiron played for Newcastle for a bunch of years. Both of them are in their 30s, so probably not in their prime. And up front, there's Julio Enciso, who was in the Premier League. He's now at Strasbourg. may be injured, so hopefully he's okay. And Antonio Sanabria, who's been playing the Serie A for a bunch, but
Yeah.
not a known goal scorer. He
No.
chips in with a few goals, literally a few goals a year.
Yeah.
Even for Paraguay, he's only got 7 goals in 48 games. So, but from what I understand, Paraguay is a tough, physically, tough team and hard to beat. So, that's kind of, we did mention this group's going to be tightest group probably in the whole tournament.
Yeah.
For sure.
They might squeeze a goal and just defend their life for their lives. And
Well, that's right. I agree. Look, I mean, Paraguay is one of those teams that, they don't have any standout, let's say, superstars, or, they don't have, let's say, stars that primarily, playing their trade in, the big leagues and that. But in saying that, look, they've got players around, the Brazilian leagues, the Argentinian leagues, there's a couple there that I saw that were in the MLS. Look, they were able to qualify through, South America. I think that says something.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those. Look, will they go far? I don't think they will go far in this World Cup. However, in this group alone, look, it's really anyone's can top this group. At the end of the day.
it's a flip of a coin.
It really can be anyone's group, and then the teams that on the score lines, like you said before, betting on draws all over the place potentially. Who knows, right? So yeah.
All right, we'll move on now to, what's the most important team for us, I guess, in this World Cup, Australia. Australia this is their 7th World Cup, round of 16 twice in 2006 with the golden generation, really, and 2022, which I think we'd all admit was a bit of a surprise for them to have done as well, and they pushed Argentina, really, it wasn't that hard to at least go into extra time.
Had a shot on target.
And
saved.
Beach had that run as well earlier. They got blocked. So good effort by Australia. I don't know. Obviously I'm going to support them, and I hope they do well. I had some issues with maybe some of the picks. Pato for me doesn't deserve to be in this squad. He's rejected us for years, and he's finally realised he's not getting picked by Italy. Italy picked their 3rd strength team, 4th strength team. He wasn't picked, and now he's gone. Well, Australia's at the World Cup. Like, pick me. That does my head in. I'm happy for him to choose Australia eventually, but from after the World Cup onwards.
Miss out on
Matt Ryan is the captain. This is his 4th World Cup. I've been a critic of him in the past.
Oh mate, he's doing really well.
He had a fantastic season in Spain.
He's doing really well. I think he's one of our top 3 players in the squad. Honestly,
I agree.
I mean, with Australia, me personally, look, I have very strong opinions in terms of, like, I follow them closely. I'm very big fanatic of the Socceroos. Popovic is, I guess, tactics I'm not a fan of. Very defensive. He tends to look like wants to defend in the first half and then go all out in the second half. Playing with that lone striker, it's not really with the players that we got. I think we're not making the most of our opportunities there with the players that we have. I think you put Iracunda up there, and pair him up with any of the other boys, I think you can make some damage there. And then in terms of selection, look, I agree. Volpato, look, personally, I think he should have been selected, but the way the team is looking now, we need as much talent as possible.
Yeah.
The one that I actually didn't agree was Villepile.
Oh yeah.
And Martin Boyle got done dirty.
Yeah.
Martin Boyle got done dirty. I think that was a very, very poor call in leading him out of the squad. He's been there since for many years.
It's been a long time.
I think that was the biggest shock for me in terms of the World Cup selection.
That was considering. Look, in fairness to Villepile, like when he's played for Australia in whatever games he's played, he's done okay. Like I don't want to hate on the guy, but he hasn't had a great season. I think he's been injured for a lot of the season. And then you got, as an example, Boyle, who missed out because of injury last time. He's been there constantly throughout the years. Had a decent season in Scotland.
He's done really well in Scotland. Yeah.
I just thought it was cruel for him to miss out. And look, if it was a player that, it was like a 50-50, I would have gone, oh well, okay. okay, whatever, it's disappointing, but I just don't think Valupale should have been in contention at all.
Absolutely not. No.
Especially, and I'll touch on, I've spoken with a lot of people about this, Segacic. For us to let a talent like that go when we could have capped him and could have taken that decision away from him, so you've been capped by Australia, you can't play for anyone else now, whether you want to or not. Imagine we had Segacic and Volpato in the team, with Irukunda as well, for example, like. That's a good team. That's a good attacking team.
That is, and the other name I want to throw in here, just in terms of controversy as well, is Ocon.
Oh yes, that's another one.
I'm like, I can't see why he needs to be in the squad. I don't see the merit there. I think there's a little bit of nepotism here in terms of
a little bit.
Oh, I'm just being nice here, mate. I'm just being nice. Yeah. So
all the best to the kid, and again, like I said at the beginning, I hope they do well. I hope I'm wrong about everything that I think, but you touched on it right there, man. There's some decisions that
the decisions here. I'm not very hopeful. I saw the game against Mexico. The first half was just parking the bus. Yeah, parking the bus like
couldn't make more than 2 passes in a row.
Yeah, and we're just parking the bus really. We're defending a 1-0 lead. In the 80th minute. So, I just didn't like the way that they're playing at the moment. Look, Australia's always had questionable starts in the lead up to World Cups in their friendlies. Always. Since even 2006. I remember 2006 I watched the friendly against Luxembourg before the World Cup. It was questionable as well. Wasn't the best performance. And then look what they did in 2006. Same thing with 2000 and... the last World Cup, 2022, Graham Arnold, I was very questionable, had a lot of questions about Graham Arnold in terms of his selections and how he structured the team, and look what they achieved, So who knows? I'd like to be proven wrong. I want to be proven wrong.
Definitely.
But I don't see them doing too much damage here.
Definitely, and I'll even say someone like Teti Yangi. He's never played for Australia, so why do you think that? I mean, he did score on debut. Respect, well done, and I hope he has a good rest of his career. But he's never played for Australia. Why do you think he'll now at the World Cup be able to? It's not like he's had scored 20, 30 goals this year in his club, so it's like we have to throw him in. I don't know. There's a few things there that definitely don't make sense. I do hope that. Cam Devlin gets some game time. I think he's a fighter in that midfield and will do the dirty work. So I hope he gets some game time. But
I think we're going to really miss Riley McGree.
Yeah, Riley McGree. You know who I also was hopeful of getting picked, even though he's a bit older now? Craig Goodwin. Even off the bench, to kill a game, last 15 minutes, he's neat on the ball, good left foot, set pieces.
For a late substitute, like you just hit the nail on the head there. Late substitute, got a great left foot. He's pings them in really well into the area, into the box. He does really well. There's no reason why he couldn't be in this squad.
Well, that's the thing, right? And you talk about, he's obviously older now. Matt Leckie's 36 years old.
Well, Matt Leckie got picked. He's 35. He's 35. He's barely played for Australia for 2 or 3 years.
Matt Leckie was injured for most of the season.
He's barely played, exactly, and then he gets picked because of experience. Well, if you're picking him, might as well pick Goodwin or Mitch Duke. They both done the job in the past.
I'd argue that Hrustic shouldn't be there.
I would. The only thing about him is he's a different kind of player to what everyone else is like. I can justify it in that aspect, but in terms of how much he's played and what he's done last 3 years, he's done nothing.
Everywhere he's played, he's barely played.
I think for me, it's going to be come down to the three players, key players here. 4 actually. So for me, it's you got Matt Ryan in goal, the main one, right? You got Geordie Boss doing phenomenal. Doing phenomenal. I mean, and potentially Sakati could be another one there that could help us to perform. Jackson Irvine, he's I guess one of the most consistent players that we've had in recent years. He does well. He was always playing well. Devlin, I'd like to see a little bit more in terms of game time. And then look, it comes down. Irukunda just needs more game time, I reckon. They just he just needs to throw him on and just let him do his thing.
Yeah, let him play. Yeah,
Let him do
I've
his
got a
thing.
bad feeling he'll be like the impact 20-minute impact
Yeah.
sub.
You can't.
We're losing 1-0.
But
We're
I
going to
think
get in
there's
there.
already talk about it, like they're not sure if he can do it for like a whole game and that sort of thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure he
you
can
gotta
do it for
give
60
him,
minutes.
the time. Yeah.
And I'd like to see what Volpado brings to the table. Really, I mean, I don't expect much from him, to be honest. But yeah, look, I think it's just around those players that I mentioned before. I think it's where our biggest hope is as well.
Yeah.
But it comes down to Popper in picking the right players, the right formation, and making sure that he's actually. Look, Popper was always. From back to the Wanderers days, it always seemed to me personally that he already had his decisions on substitutes and formation before kickoff. So he wouldn't base his
He wouldn't react.
he wouldn't react to the say on how the game was going. It seemed like he already had his substitutes and changes scripted already before kickoff.
Mm.
So that's the impression I always got from him.
The other big person I think we're going to miss is his name Lewis Mill.
Oh yeah, he got injured for Blackburn
Yeah,
earlier this season. He was a right wing
I
sort
don't
of
think
wing back.
Jacob Italiano is quite as good as him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a big difference playing in the Championship and playing in the Austrian League.
Yeah.
With all due respect to the Austrian League, it's a good league for young players to go to and develop. But you know, the pace and physicality of the Championship is something else. So.
I mean, for me, look, just to wrap, round down in terms of what we think of Australia, I think for me, success here for Australia, look, and being realistic as well, is just beating the US. Because the US have been riding us off continuously for non-stop. So just to beat them, I think that's a successful World Cup for us.
Yeah.
I mean, anything after that, it would be a bonus, in terms of going to the next stage. Yeah.
I'm kind of leaning towards that as well. I'd love to think that we can get through to the next round. If it was only 2 teams going through, I would say no way we're going through.
Yeah.
The fact that 3 teams can go through, we may sneak in that second or
I
third
think with how
place.
stubborn we are.
Yeah. We'll definitely
Should be
fight.
bad.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we'll see what happens. I'm going to say Turkey and the US are going through. USA is the home team and Turkey is, just probably the best team in the group. What do you reckon?
I'd say Turkey, Paraguay.
Turkey, Paraguay. Yeah.
I'd say Turkey top, and then I think the rest is just a flip of a coin.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's see. Hopefully, we're wrong. Hopefully, this time we're wrong big time, and
Maybe in
Australia gets
3
Australia, top of the group.
top of the group.
Yeah. 3 wins, no goals conceded.
God. That would be a
3-1 nils.
I'll take it. All right. So, Group E. So we might see if we. Mate, with 48 teams, there's
I know.
1,000 groups. Group E: Curacao, Ecuador, Germany, Ivory Coast. Curacao, first ever World Cup. Well done to them.
Did you guys see the bus that they rode to go into the World Cup?
No.
It was like a
Mega bus?
It was a dinghy bus with no windows, and that was the bus that were departing to the World Cup. And that just to me says, you know what? That's what it's about, right?
That 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So that's, as I said at the beginning, the thing I do like about the 48 teams is you're going to have stories like that.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Like, for a country as small as them to be at a World Cup, they've already achieved everything. And anything from here, if they score a goal, that's a bonus. If they get a point, that's unbelievable,
Yeah.
Now, in terms of players, I'll name some players, see if you guys recognise any of these. If I recognise any of them. Leandro Bacuna.
He used to play at Villa, didn't he?
I think so. And Jurgen Locadia.
I know the name, I can't remember who he played.
He played a little bit in the English league, in the Premier League. And this one you surely know, Tahir Chong.
Yeah.
For United. He got that big kind of afro-y hair. Not much else, unfortunately, to choose from.
Coach has been around the block though.
Dick Advocat, yeah. So interesting story with him. He actually resigned from the job either last year or early this year after they qualified because his daughter was unwell,
Oh, right.
and then she got better, and then basically people were asking for him to come back because he was like, oh, I'm not available, whatever. And the federation said, no, obviously we've moved on. We're going to stick with whoever we've chosen now. And then that guy decided to resign, and Dick Advocat came back. So.
Did that guy resign because they?
Well,
I think
who
so.
knows?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty much the same. No, go.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, he took him to the World Cup, qualified him. So it's nice. Now Ecuador. We've got the 5th World Cup for Ecuador, made the round of 16 in 2006. This is a team that, from memory, I think they only conceded 5 goals in qualifying. Now,
I think that could be
unless someone lied to me, that's the truth. I'm not going to double check it, but they are extremely tough to beat. Now, I wonder, some of that might be the heights of where they play and the lack of oxygen up there possibly, but they have a decent team.
strong defense.
Most well-known player maybe Enner Valencia.
So, and just to clarify, to confirm, five goals
5 goals
considered in
Wow,
South America.
that's in
So
18 games.
that's in 18 games. So
Against Brazil, Argentina,
correct.
Uruguay, Colombia.
They finished second as well. They also only lost 2 games where Argentina had lost 4, so Argentina topped the group.
Yeah.
So they also had the least loss, but they had the most draws.
Yeah. So
There's
hard
a lot
to
of nil-nils here.
Yeah. So defensively good. Let's just say maybe where they probably fall short, maybe it's in the attack. But look, other than that, they're going to be one of the stronger teams. In this group.
I will mention a couple other players that I kind of missed initially. Moises Caicedo, obviously at Chelsea. He's Ecuadorian. Piero Hincapié, that plays for Arsenal at the moment. And also Pervis Estupiñán, who was at Brighton, now he's at AC Milan. So,
And William Pacho, who is the starting centre back at PSG.
yes, that's right.
Started by
So,
the Champions League finals.
not the worst team, if I'm honest. And I think they're in a group that they could nab some results. I think they could trouble Germany.
Yeah.
Maybe Germany's experience overall might get them, but I expect they could have beat Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
And I
They
expect them to beat Curacao
Yeah.
comfortably. So,
Those two, it's they should win, and the question here is essentially just between who tops the group, Germany or Ecuador.
I think that's a fair
That's it.
comment, to be honest. So, all right, let's see. We'll make our final predictions at the end. Moving on to Germany. Germany's played 21, or this is the 21st World Cup. They've won it 4 times. 1954, 1974, 1990 and 2014. Highlight of 2014 was their beating Brazil 7-1. So, sorry Brazil.
That was good.
Germany, that was good. That was good. I slept through it.
That was satisfying.
I wish I woke up for it, but it doesn't matter. Manuel Neuer's back for Germany, despite being retired. So he's back to play another World Cup at the age of 40. Look, they got a good team.
They got a squad that's just I think
Very
This-
well-rounded.
This
Well,
German team, I don't know, I can't pinpoint it, but it feels like a traditional old school German team. Like, no real weaknesses, but not necessarily
any
superstars. They're just gonna work hard, get the job done.
That's right.
With some flair. I mean, you got Musiala, you got Wirtz, Sana, Leroy Sana. Like, there's some flair there as well in attacking strength. But
Kai Havertz is fit, and he's scored the Champions League final recently. So
Look, and I think Germany being Germany, they could also look. They're always going to be a strong footballing nation. They've always been a strong footballing nation. Strong squads. They potentially could be the semi-final. I don't see with this squad why they couldn't make it to semis. Right,
No,
and then from there, anything happens. Like what I mean. So it's
we've seen worse German squads do better.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I actually wouldn't mind if they do decently. I didn't always love Germany, just because they were so ruthless. It felt like they were just machines. But I've got a lot of respect for them, and I don't mind if they do well. All right, and the fourth team here is Ivory Coast. Fourth World Cup for them. They've surprisingly, if you consider some of their names in the past, not got out of the group stage. So 2006, 2010, and 2014 went out in the group stage every single time. So this is their first World Cup since then. They don't have the names of Drogba and the Tourés anymore, but. And Wilfried Zaha didn't get picked either. He's getting on, but I thought he might get a spot there.
I think
Frank Kessier's in the team.
I think it's based on what I'm looking at with the squad. Their starting 11 would actually be pretty decent.
Yeah.
Well, they beat France the other day, and yes, it's a friendly, but look at France's team.
Is a decent starting 11.
Look, Ivory Coast could potentially be a dark horse. Could potentially be. I think Turkey.
Is that a racist comment or?
I know. I was going to say maybe we should pick on. Yeah. They could potentially be a dark horse in this World Cup. Turkey is more likely to be the dark horse in this instance. But these guys could also really cause some upsets as well.
And also, look, we're assuming Curacao gets comfortably beaten, right? So depending on where they finish, any of those teams finish second or third, or who finishes first, they end up somewhere in that knockout stage. They might get a France in the next round, or they might get some other team that it's an underdog as well, and you end up getting through a few knockout rounds, and all of a sudden you're in the quarterfinals.
Exactly right.
So
and I think these guys will be coming out to look. I think the interesting game in this group would be, well, first of all, Germany, Ecuador will be a good game.
Yeah.
But then it would come down to the Ivory Coast seeing, upsetting Germany or Ecuador.
Yeah. So predictions wise, what are we thinking?
I'd say Germany top in group, Ecuador second, Ivory Coast, and then Curacao.
Yeah, I think I agree.
I'm gonna Germany, Ecuador, Ivory Coast, and Curacao last. Unfortunately, hopefully they get some goals at least. We'll keep it close, just so they can enjoy it a bit more. See what happens in the end. Now, this group for me is a little bit interesting. Group F, we've got Japan, Netherlands, Sweden, Tunisia.
Question.
Yeah.
Group of death.
I think this group is more difficult than the Australian group.
I'm going to say no.
No.
I'm going to say Group D is the group of death just because of how even it is. I don't think Sweden's that strong.
Okay.
And Tunisia, I don't think they're strong enough to threaten one of the other teams, and qualify ahead of them. I actually think Japan can beat the Netherlands here and top the group.
I think so too.
I hope so.
I hope so.
I'd love to see it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So now let's just quickly touch on Japan 8th World Cup, round of 16, 4 times. So 2002, 2010, 2018, 2022. I think it's time for them to go to the next step.
You look at their recent form, they haven't lost a game in something like the last 9, something like that.
Let's have a look.
They've been undefeated. So, they've just done so. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
or 7? They haven't lost in 7. The last game they lost was in September to the US. They lost 2-0, but question mark, I guess, over what kind of team they had. Who was playing there.
Last 7 games, they've done well. They beat England in that run as well, 1-0. Recently.
That's a massive win.
So they did 1-0 against Scotland, 1-0 against South Korea.
They haven't conceded a goal in the last 5 games they've played. Ghana 2-0, Bolivia 3-0, and then 1-0 against Scotland, England, Iceland. I think, we're talking about being your own worst enemy. I think they're their own worst enemy when it gets to game. Like last World Cup, they beat Spain, they beat Germany, they lost to Costa Rica. How do you beat those two but then lose to Costa Rica? With all due respect to Costa Rica.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's not a matter of culture with these guys. I don't know. I just can't seem to explain. Like they're very disciplined. They've got a very disciplined culture. They're very good. Maybe not physically as strong, but
technically they're unbelievable. They're
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I think they're now well overdue to start making an impact in World Cup and being a, let's say, an actual respected footballing nation.
Definitely.
They're like, they've obviously got a clear system like for people coming through in Japan. And like
Yeah.
when I was in Japan and I watched a game there, a J League game, they were all great. Like
Yeah.
they're all technically like so good. Like everyone.
Yeah, they are. They got a good education from a young age. Looking at their team, I'll mention the unfortunate guys that are missing out. Mitoma out injured. I think he got injured in the last game of the season. Minamino, he did his knee about 6 months ago, so unfortunately he misses out. There is a bit of talk about Wataru Endo being out, the captain. Your Liverpool boy.
He played the other day in the friendly.
He did. Okay, well, there was more about them. There must be about managing his training and things because he's
I
not.
think he was towards the end of the season for us. He was injured.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, hopefully he's okay.
He's their captain, so
Yeah,
I'd say they do everything to get him playing.
that's it. And now, in terms of the actual players in the team, the other players in the team, I guess they picked Nagatomo, who's nearly 40 years old.
Yeah.
I think he's there more for managing the team and experience and helping the young boys along and things like that. Tomiyasu, who's at Ajax these days. Hiroki Ito, who's at Bayern Munich. Again, we've said it before, you can't be a bad player if you're at Bayern Munich.
No.
We've got Kubo at Real Sociedad, Doan at Eintracht Frankfurt, Kamada, who is at Crystal Palace. He may not score a lot of goals, but he's a neat player and he's involved in everything pretty much.
Yeah.
Up front, look, I'm not too familiar. Obviously, I know Maida from Celtic. I'm not too familiar with their forwards, but if they've been picked, I would trust that they're good players.
Maida does well at Celtic.
Yeah.
And I think Ueda at Feyenoord, I think he's done alright too since going there. But yeah, and even as well, they've got a good goalie. Suzuki plays for Parma.
That's great.
He plays week in, week out for them. So.
Alright, so
that team.
hopefully for all our sakes and hopes and dreams, Japan does really well. I'd love to see them, get, obviously it's an expanded tournament, so we go from the group stage to a round of 32 and then a round of 16. I think if they get to at least a round of 16, that's an achievement because that's one knockout game won, which they've never done before. So that's a step forward. Ultimately, I'd love a quarterfinal or a semi-final for them.
Yeah.
I think they...
I think a semi-final is, I think for a team like Japan, look, I think they should need to be ambitious in just reaching semi-finals. And look, it is realistic.
I believe so. All right, we'll move on to the Netherlands. Netherlands' 12th World Cup. They've come second 3 times, 1974, 1978, 2010. Bit of an enigma, I think, the Netherlands. Like, you look at their squads over the years, how they have even missed qualification a bunch of times blows your mind.
Yeah.
Every tournament, you think they've got a team to at least get to a semi-final, but most of the time, there's something that goes wrong within the team, arguments, conflict, whatever it is, and things just don't work out for them. Not that they've done badly, obviously they made finals and semi-finals and stuff, but now they're led by Virgil is it Virgil van Dijk? Virgil van Dijk, he's their captain. He's 34 years old now, so it's probably his last World Cup. We've got Nathan Ake in defence as well. A bunch of Premier League players. Like, pretty much their whole defence is Premier League, except for Denzel Dumfries, who's killing it at Inter Milan.
He's gone around Madrid now.
Well, yeah, possibly. Midfield, pretty even. Like, you can't really... Everyone's in that midfield is pretty even in the sense of, like, I don't think anyone stands out as a superstar. Like,
I think Frankie de Jong is still better than all of them.
you think so?
Yeah, I think he's still better than all of them, for sure.
Oh, I guess he's at Barca. Depay up front, Cody Gakpo, Daniel Marlin has had a fantastic season this year between Aston Villa and Roma. Wout Weghorst, everyone's favourite giant, I guess, or most hated giant if you're Argentinian. So yeah, what do we think? Can the Netherlands reach the heights that some people expect them to?
I think the team is definitely good enough to go very far in the tournament. I actually think Coleman could be their problem.
Oh, the coach?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's happened before with them, where he has made some stupid decisions, or his selections or his tactics has, I think, cost them. So yeah, I think if anything, he could be the only thing that stands in the way of them.
The Dutch can be like,
He's got
The
the
co-
big
they-
ego as well.
that's what I was going to say. Their coaches have, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but a lot of their coaches seem to have massive egos over the years, and they will make certain decisions because they want to be right. You know what I mean? Obviously, they're making a decision they think will be the best decision, but there's times where they make ludicrous decisions and they end up losing. So, ego is definitely player and coaches. It can be that's probably their problem over the years. Andy, anything?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'm not too familiar in terms of their coaches much detail, but I think if anything compared to Japan, these guys will have the pressure to perform in this
Yeah.
group. The pressure's on them.
Yeah, they're the favourites to go through.
Yeah.
Realistically. All right. We'll go to Sweden now. I did mention I don't think Sweden really. They got Graham Potter as coach, so I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, well, he did good things in the Swedish league, and everyone in Sweden loves him. So
Looking at their squad,
some good plays.
Victor Lindelöf. He's a Premier League player. Unfortunately, Kulusevski's out. He's basically missed 12 to 18 months already through injury. It's disappointing. That's a big loss for them, I think.
Yeah. I mean, considering on their qualifying half, I think it's interesting. Not a single win.
Well,
Finishing last in the group.
they were terrible in qualifying. They got a second chance through the Nations League,
correct?
and they managed to get through that playoff. Which should they be?
Ukraine
Poland.
and Poland.
Yeah. And now, since then, they've lost to Norway. They drew with Greece. Like, not a lot to be excited about if you're Swedish. It's their first World Cup in a while, so
Sweden, it's their 13th World Cup overall. They have actually come second in 1954 as hosts. Probably nothing sus there, but
Simpler times.
simple times. Yeah, there's no cameras, no
That's it.
VAR or anything. But I wouldn't be too excited. I think, look, the last World Cup they were at was 2018, so they missed the last one. Before that, they missed a couple as well. They do have some strike force though. They got Alexander Isak, Anthony Elanga, Victor Gyökeres. Maybe they try to outscore.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that will be the 8 players behind, 8 or 9 players behind them will be defending with their lives, and I think that those two
Yeah.
can go a few goals.
What do you think their tactics will be? Like, I'm thinking, they're real, like, try not to lose to Netherlands and Japan, or at least not to lose too much, and attack Tunisia and try to beat them.
I think so as well, in terms of trying to attack. Well, I think they'll probably pass us.
It looks like Potter's got them playing 3 at the back as well.
Three at the back.
Three to 5 at the back, but in the 4. So yeah, it must be like have those 2 guys up front, score a goal.
Yeah. I think Kulusevski's massive because he can unlock any kind of defence, and I don't think they have any other player like that these days. So, look, I've always liked Sweden, kind of just because of their colours. I think they've always been interesting to me. Some good players in the past, Henrik Larsson, and a few others even before that. I don't know. I actually see them missing out. We'll make our predictions at the end, but we'll get to that.
we'll go to Tunisia. So Tunisia, 7th World Cup for them. Group stage every time, so 6 group stage results. They've qualified for the last 2 World Cups, now the 3rd in a row. Last World Cup, if I'm not wrong, they beat France in the last game. I think, if my memory is right, they beat France, but
Unfortunately, we beat Denmark, so we went through. Which means that you can't write them off.
No. And looking at their squad, they've got some decent players in playing in some strong leagues in Europe. they could potentially look upset one of the bigger teams, like maybe a Japan or Netherlands. You know, like we said, Japan lost to Costa Rica.
Yeah,
Could Tunisia be Japan's Costa Rica again this week?
yeah,
World
that's
Cup?
right.
And look, it will be a fight between Sweden and Tunisia, but I think Tunisia will take this one out. And me personally, if it was between Sweden and Tunisia would be
You reckon?
favourite, yeah,
Okay.
in this one, I reckon.
Yeah, interesting. I think it's weird. I think Tunisia is more likely to beat, the Netherlands in the last game,
Okay.
having already been knocked out,
Yeah, yeah.
than to beat one of the like Japan or Sweden in the
Right.
first two games.
Okay.
I think maybe just like that, if Netherlands have already qualified, they'll probably ease off a little bit, and then having nothing to lose, you just go for it, and they maybe get a result. In saying that, I do expect them personally to come last. So
Yeah.
I've got Netherlands, Japan going through.
Yep.
That's my lock. Sweden third place, and obviously depending on how other third places go.
Who do you think will top the group?
Look, I said it at the beginning. I think Japan has the capability of beating Netherlands, so I'll stick with it. I'll say
Japan
I'll say
first?
Japan first.
Yeah, same. I'm with Japan first.
Yeah, I think they'll probably end up finishing like level of points. I reckon they'll just both have 2 wins and then probably draw with each other.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So it might depend on goal difference then. I guess we'll see. Tunisia has not done well recently though, so
Oh, there you go.
they've
Yeah,
drawn with Canada, lost to Austria, got pumped by Belgium.
Maybe Kazri is not.
Yeah, well, he's retired.
He's retired,
Yeah,
so-
so good luck to him.
All right, we're getting close. Still about 15 groups to go. So
Yeah, we do.
now this is potentially the group of death. Group G:
Yeah.
Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand. Apologies to most of those countries for my sarcastic comments. Belgium, 15th World Cup, they came third in 2018, with a kind of probably their peak of this generation with Hazard and Fellaini and Lukaku younger and De Bruyne and
Vertonghen.
Mertens and Courtois younger as well. Do we think Belgium can compete? So the last World Cup they were terrible. They got knocked out in the group stage. It felt like a bit of a change in generations. Hasn't quite happened yet because they've got some experienced players still.
They do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Witsel.
Still some very good players in this now.
De
Yeah.
Bruyne is there. But do you consider them a threat of any kind?
I think they could go to maybe a round of 16.
Yeah. Quarterfinal.
Quarterfinal.
Even. Yeah. I'd say quarterfinal.
Right.
Appearance. They definitely will get out of this group.
It's just obviously just their defence doesn't have anyone that sort of stands out, but like their midfielders and their forwards still very good.
Well, they've got probably the best keeper in the world
Plus, yeah, they've
in
got
Courtois.
Yeah,
You're right. The defense is a little bit, there's no more Vincent Company, for example, Vertonghen, Marlon, Alderweireld.
yeah.
They're all gone. So it's a new defense. I have to agree with you guys. I think with the players they do have, I think a quarterfinal is reasonable to expect. Especially, and I mean, looking at the group, you'd think they get out of that easily.
Easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and look, this one, I don't see it being a group of death. And I think I agree. Probably maybe the Australia group probably is a group of death. Time to kind of really consider this. But yeah, these guys should pass this group easily.
Yeah. Egypt, 4th World Cup, round of 16 back in 1934. I honestly, I don't expect much from Egypt. I think they got Mo Salah and they got Mamouche. I just don't know if they can do it really. I don't know. I'm not even sure if they're going to beat Iran or New Zealand, despite having those attacking threats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to need to have those two really on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot of, like, they're going to be carrying the team a lot.
And they picked 4 goalkeepers for some reason. So unless they've got a couple,
Yeah.
injury cloud situations with
Yeah,
goalkeepers,
yeah.
but
Interesting.
that's a strange decision for
Yeah.
mine. We'll move on. We can probably get through this group pretty quickly. Iran, 7th World Cup. They've never got out of the group stage. Thankfully, they've been allowed to play, even though they're not allowed to stay in the US. So they're going to be now based in Mexico,
That's right.
flying in, flying out.
Which is where
On
it's just
game
absurd. Yeah, it's just absurd that it's had to come to this, and this is one of the issues of this World Cup as well.
Yep.
I think it's just ridiculous that if you're going to host the World Cup, fair enough, but you're going to be have these exemptions ready in place. You know what I mean? So I think it's very poor form from the US in terms of not behaving the way they've done in this instance.
Yeah. They're soccer players, man.
Yeah, it is what it is.
But even, I think I read yesterday, the official photographer is not allowed into the US. He's been not detained, but his visa's been cancelled, so he can't go to the games. He's just going to be at their training ground, basically.
There you go.
There, so that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Speaking of which, just a bit of a side note, I don't know if you guys have seen, going back to Japan's, talk about Japan, the training facilities in Mexico. Have you guys- The field, how
Feels
atrocious,
terrible.
it's been terrible, mate, terrible. I feel embarrassed. I got secondhand embarrassment for Mexico, really, because the facilities, like these guys were like walking down to the field in one of the grounds, like it was like, wasn't even like, what's it called? Not even bitumen, nothing, like it was just like
A dirt.
dirt track and walking onto the
But
field.
did
and
they
they're
not
walking-
get offered another place because of that?
And that's the one, I'm talking about this one now. This is the
Nah.
one, that's just saw footage, it's terrible. So it's just a bit embarrassing. I just figured it just reminded me about that anyways in terms of facilities as well when you mentioned.
That's not good. Man.
Yeah, but anyway, so coming back to the the running football team.
Yeah.
Look, I think it could be between. Look, I don't see them doing much damage as well in this World Cup. Potentially could probably get out of this group maybe if it's between them and Egypt.
Yeah, I anticipate it. The only thing I'm kind of considering is with the whole political situation, if that could fire up the players to
could be.
kind of just give that a little bit extra and then get over the line against New
Possibly.
Zealand and Egypt. But then at the same time, with their situation having to fly in, fly out,
It's disruptive.
it could be
Preparation.
Yeah.
preparation will be tough. So
Yeah.
I hope they show themselves off well and maybe sneak in a win against Egypt.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. And finally, New Zealand. I guess everyone's sort of underdog team.
Tim Payne.
The famous Tim Payne.
Yeah.
Tim Payne.
I hope they're competitive, and I'd love to see them win a game.
Yeah.
I'd like to see. Them
I honestly think now that look, they don't have, let's say, teams like they don't have the players playing in other, like in Europe. Look, Chris Wood is still their main player, over at Nottingham Forest. He'll be essentially their best player, in my opinion. I think that for them to just make it out of the group stage will be a huge success. And it's actually possible for them to do it as well. I mean, if you look at teams like Iran and Egypt, maybe like on their day,
they're winnable games.
they're winnable games. They can beat them, right? So I wouldn't necessarily write off New Zealand as the easy beats in this one, and they could potentially just make it through, like even through a third place.
Well, this is their third World Cup. Last World Cup, I'm sure the Italian fans will remember. New Zealand drew all 3 games. They were undefeated team, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe I guess success for them might be just getting a win, even if they don't end up going through. Getting a win for historic for them. Personally, if I was a Kiwi, I would take that. Although you don't get opportunities like this very often at a World Cup, where it's a group where, apart from Belgium, I think anyone can beat anyone.
Look, I reckon. I think they could potentially beat Iran and Egypt, right? On their day.
So what's your prediction for this group?
Look, looking at it putting my emotions aside, because I do want to see New Zealand go through and do well, because it's also good for Australian football. Because there's a lot of players there, from
Daily players.
so it gives us a bit more of that clout there. Look, we'll beat Belgium, and honestly, I think Egypt will go through. New Zealand potentially. Look, it's hard to say, mate. Look, I'd say New Zealand will come out third, Iran fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Belgium will go top, and then I think Egypt second. As much as Salah's done in his career, obviously the last 10 years, I think he's just still got that point to prove with Egypt.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, it's fair. Look, I'll just be a little bit different. I'm gonna go obviously Belgium first, but I'm gonna go with Iran second.
Yeah. I can see that happening.
And you know, maybe I just want them to, I don't know, just spite America or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Egypt third, New Zealand fourth. Realistically, I don't think New Zealand can get out of the group, but you know, it's a close one. I think they can compete, and then they might have a chance.
Yeah.
All right, Group H, Cabo Verde, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, Spain, and Uruguay. Cape Verde, first ever World Cup, so that's already a massive achievement for them. They've been building for several years, getting better and better into the AFCON, so great achievement for them. I'm not really familiar with any of their players, to be honest. Most teams I know at least one or two, but with them it's it's a bit of the unknown actually.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got no idea for any of them actually.
There's one like I said play here playing the Portuguese league. Some of them like around Europe. You know, one that via Logan Costa via Real. But that's about it. Like I mean, a couple of them in I think in one in Malaysia. Yeah, look, I mean, I don't see them doing much damage, to be honest, in this World Cup. Making much of an impact.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know anything about them really. You know, they, like I said, they have been getting better, and you know, they beat Serbia the other day 3-0, but that's not you know saying much.
Yeah.
Then they played Bermuda, and they beat Bermuda 3-0. So I don't think. You know, I think they're going to be competitive, but in that group, I think they can only pick up any points against Saudi Arabia.
I think so too.
And we'll move on to Saudi Arabia. So 7th World Cup for them. They have made round of 16 once before in 1994. They shocked the world and Argentina in the last World Cup and beat them 2-1 in the group stage, but weren't able to continue that on. They've actually recently changed their coach, so it's not what's his name, Hervé Renard, the French guy, the good-looking fella. They've got some Greek guy, Georgios Donis, as a coach, but I kind of put them in the same bracket, Cape Verde. Like, you know, they've got a guy playing in the French league for Lens. I think he's a left back, but really not much experience outside of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. Most of them playing in the Saudi league there.
Yeah, I can see them being competitive.
I was going to say, they might be competitive like they are versus, I know a lot of people leaving out of their prime to go to Saudi Arabia, but the leagues has obviously improved a bit. So they might be a bit more competitive.
Now the two big teams really in this group, and the ones everyone will be excited about. First we'll go to Spain. I don't know if I even want to go through the team. There's a lot of good players there.
Should be top in the group.
Question for you boys is from me for you both. Are they favourites for this World Cup?
I don't think so. Not favourite. They're one of the favourites, but not the main favourite.
Yeah, I was going to say they'd be, I think, in the top 4.
Yeah, I think France on paper has to be. France can have 3 teams and they'd be top 3 favourites, I think. The question I want to ask is, who should be in goal? David Raya, Joan Garcia, or Unai Simon?
Yeah, I will be very honest here, Nathan, that I haven't watched much football in the last 12 to 18 months.
What are you doing here then?
What am I doing here? I bring in more of a historical perspective to things, and my Australian football knowledge. That's where I may specialise in. But yeah, look, I wouldn't be. I'm not in a position to say.
Dan, surely.
Unai Simon always does well for Spain, which is why he always obviously has a spot, I think. In saying that, David Raya has been very good for Arsenal this year, which I hate, but anyway.
Yeah.
But in saying that as well, Joan Garcia has done well for Barca too. So
I'd love to
I think
see.
you could put any of them in.
Yeah, you can, and Simon will get it because he's been there for several years now.
Yeah.
And
I think
Coach
he
loves
played
him.
all the
Qualifiers and
so-
everything. Yeah. I would love to see. I think Raya. I mentioned just before Courtois being the best goalkeeper in the world. I think Raya the last 2 seasons has been unbelievable. Some of the things he does. So it's a shame if he doesn't get any tournament action. Like with Germany, Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been an unbelievable goalkeeper for years for Barcelona. Hasn't played a competitive game at a World Cup or a Euros.
Yeah, well, I was going to say this has been a story I think for Spain over the years anyway. When Victor Valdez was goalkeeper, he had Pep Perrin on the bench.
Yeah.
So
Casillas before that, and
yeah, Casillas that had them. That was ahead of them. Like it happened. A lot with Spain.
but all round good team. They play good football. I don't traditionally support Spain. I don't even know why. I don't really support them. But in the Euros, I couldn't be mad. They played the best football. They were entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
So they'll do well. What do we? Oh, actually, no, we're not up to predictions yet. Let's go to Uruguay.
Just quickly with that Spain team. The only thing I think you can question is I think their centre backs aren't as good as what they have been in the past.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. They seem a bit younger, except for there's a couple. Oh no, actually.
The younger
Take that
brother,
back.
you got Laporte, who's been around for a while, but he's obviously out of his prime.
They got Llorente, he's 31, Laporte 32, and Grimaldo 30. But then everyone else is under 25. Pretty much. No, got that wrong too.
Overall, I
Yes,
think all eyes will be on Yamal for this
Yeah.
in Spain. The spotlight will be on Yamal in terms of what he brings at 18. One of the youngest debuts. So
That's incredible. He's still 18.
yeah, so there's going to be a big I think focus on terms of his performance for Spain.
Definitely. I mean, he's a next future superstar with Messi and Ronaldo pretty much finishing their careers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Can he handle it? It looks like he can. He seems pretty chill, to be honest. Uruguay.
Yeah.
They used
that'd be
to.
interesting.
They were always my kind of favorite South American team just because they were such underdogs. And, I think, 4 or 5 million people in Uruguay.
That's right.
They've done reasonably well in recent years. They've had a bit of a change in generations. A lot of
without Suarez and Cavani.
Cavani, a lot of
For a
now
while.
they're relying on Darwin Nunez.
Yeah.
Good luck with
And
that.
he's playing in Saudi League.
Saudi, he's not even playing.
He
Yeah,
actually got
he's-
his contract terminated, so he can go somewhere else.
Yeah, so Muslera, he's back. I don't think he'll be the starting keeper, but he's back in the squad. He's got a lot of experience. Look, they've got Federico Valverde at Real Madrid. Rodrigo Bentancur, he's a good player. They got some good players still, and
Still a
Mate,
very stable defence.
they are fighters.
Yeah.
They know they're underdogs.
Yeah.
They fight till the end. So
That's what the Uruguayans have always been good at in terms of that, blood and guts in terms of being getting in there. They're not
do anything to win. Even.
That's right. Yeah. So look, with Bielsa at the helm, Bielsa is a coach that I guess he's got a lot of Chilean fans. His ways of coaching can either look. I think people have been either for it or against it in terms of what he does in terms of decisions. You saw 2002 World Cup with Argentina. They essentially you talk to Argentinians, a lot of them will blame him for the substitutes that he did. In terms of how he handled the team then. He done phenomenal things with the Chilean national team at the 2010 World Cup. 2010.
Yeah, beat Spain.
Yeah. No, we lost to Spain that one. That's when we beat Spain 2014.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
with some
With Australia was in the group, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, look, Bielsa, I think after this World Cup, he's leaving Uruguay. So it's really, really interesting to see on how they will perform with him at the helm. So that's one of the main things. But look, Uruguay should be quarterfinals. I mean, anything less, I think it's,
Failure.
Yeah, in my opinion.
Depending on where, teams finish,
Yes.
they could actually play Argentina in the next round.
Correct.
So that's that's not an easy game for Argentina.
No,
Yeah.
no, because there's a lot. It's always very intense and fiery
Yeah,
clash
yeah,
between
That's
those two.
that'll be a
very
game
fun.
to watch
Yeah.
for sure. Predictions, boys.
Oh look, I think Spain will top the group easily, then followed by Uruguay, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flip a
Yeah.
coin for the last two, I think.
Yeah. But I think Saudi Arabia will I think, easily just be in that third spot. I think Cape Verde might do some damage, might cause an upset, but highly unlikely.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. And just to touch on Uruguay, well, actually, I didn't mention Spain. 17th World Cup for Spain. They've they have won one, which is great,
Yeah.
in 2010.
That's right. Yeah.
Uruguay 15th World Cup, they won two. So the very first one, 1930, and then in 1950.
Yeah.
So they do have 4 stars though on their jersey because before the first World Cups, there were a couple of Olympics that they won and that they were considered the World Championships at the time.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
which is, it is what it is, whatever. It doesn't bother me. All right, moving on to Group I. France, Iraq, Norway, Senegal.
It's a very interesting.
I think this is
Yeah.
a very interesting group.
Yeah.
I agree. So we got France, 17th World Cup, won it twice, 1998 and 2018. Both of those held in Europe, which don't know if that's going to matter or not. I mentioned just moments ago, France can field 3 teams and probably favourites with all of those teams. Any surprises or anything like that? Anything about France that you guys
No,
have to say?
no. Look, I think they're one of the favourites in my opinion. Look, it'd be anything less than a semi-final appearance. I think would be,
Yeah.
disappointment. Yeah,
Definitely. And I think it's Deschamps' last tournament as French coach, so
Yeah.
he'd want to go out, in a good way, and he'd want to win it essentially. But we'll definitely see what happens. I really don't want him to win. Like they've been so successful recently. They won 2018, made the final 2022. For them to make the final again, it's a bit boring.
yeah. They're becoming the new Brazil.
Yeah. Kylian Mbappe
Yeah, I don't know. Something about him just kind of just
is off. Or
Yeah.
for me anyway.
Yeah.
He just
yeah.
They've got
I don't know.
unreal amount of forwards there.
Yeah, they look. There's not much more to say than other than they'll make it easy to semi-finals. They should.
I think their midfield selection will be interesting.
Yeah.
Kante's back in the squad.
Kante is I think one of the very few players. Like I think he's the most lovable player in all football.
Yeah, no one hates him.
No one hates him.
Nah, you can't.
The most.
If you hate
humble,
him-
down to
There's something wrong with you.
Does he still
Yeah,
drive his old
yeah.
little what did he used to drive? Remember there was a thing he drove some old
Is
car.
it a
at
mini
Chelsea?
or like a mini or
Yeah,
something?
I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
Everyone loves Conte. Unbelievable team though. I'm not going to go through it. We know their players.
speaks for itself.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to Iraq. So this is obviously, I think we might all have a soft spot for Iraq based on, not just because I live in Fairfield, but Graham Arnold obviously coaching them. I think he's done in a short time an unbelievable job to even get them there.
Surprisingly well, to be honest, for me in terms of what Graham Arnold's style has been historically. I think he's done a phenomenal job there. I don't think it's, I expected him to do as well. Again, going back to in terms of how his footballing philosophy has been in, Australia, I didn't think he'd be able to do this well. So, look, recent games, you saw that they had an actual really good result against Spain or draw, beating Andorra as well. Look, in Andorra, I mean, I'm not going to say Andorra is a poor team. I mean, they're a European team. Like, look, any team from Europe is going to be somewhat relatively strong, right? So, 2-1 against Bolivia, and then they lost 2-0 to Algeria and 1-0 to Jordan. But
They'll put up a fight, I think,
They will.
with the game. So
They will.
I don't think they'll get pumped. I think they'll,
I hope
push.
not.
They'll push the teams.
Yeah,
to-
I hope not. I hope they're
To
at
really
least
go for
close.
it.
You know, it'll be good for the community.
Mm.
If they're at least in, I don't want to see them lose 5-6-0
Yeah.
or you know anything along those lines. So let's hope that doesn't happen. This is their second World Cup. 1986 is the last time they were there. They lost out in the group stage. So hopefully, well, actually, how did they do in that World Cup? Let's have a look. They lost 3 games, scored 1 goal, conceded 4. I think if they can pick up a point, that's a successful World Cup. Personally, against it's a strong group. The other teams are pretty good. We'll move on to Norway. 4th World Cup for Norway. So they don't have a huge history at the World Cup. Round of 16 in 1938 and 1998, and 1998 was the last time they qualified as well. And it's taken a while for them to have new superstars come through. And they've got them now. So
Yeah, they're going to be a strong side.
Yeah.
I'm for me,
Good team.
they're the underdog that I'm tipping. Maybe a semi-final.
Right. Oh, so you're going to call them the dark horse?
I'm gonna
They're
say
your dark
Norway is the dark horse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see. Look, I mean, I wasn't familiar with the squad, but just having a quick look at it now, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I can see why.
I think it's been so long since they've been at any tournament. Euro 2000 was the last thing they qualified for. I think they're going to be hungry. And look at